Hey guys, this is Stu from Stuart Scale Models, and this is going to be the first of one of two inbox reviews, my entry into the M Group build. This is the main cruxus of the diorama, which is going to be the M4A3 105mm Howitzer Sherman. Now this particular version of the Sherman was used to great effect for infantry support, and was used extensively during the European campaign until the end of the war, from July 1944 until the end of the war. Now the thing that really caught my eye with this is basically the whitewash colour scheme, because I'm going to be depicting it as though it's going through the streets of Bastogne, hence why I've got these figures in their winter gear. It's towards the end of the campaign of the Battle of the Bulge, when the Nazi forces were basically defeated and evacuating the town itself. I shall also be using Tamiya's Kugelwagen as well as the dragon figures for the Bastogne set, so that will be in my second inbox review. But the main cruxus is this beautiful vehicle. The reason I chose the 105mm howitzer is because I thought it was quite unusual. Now I know Mike Cohen is doing an entry, and he will be doing a Pacific Theatre dio, whereas I am going to be doing a European dio. So I wish you the best of luck with that, bud. And unfortunately at the moment, concerning Mike, his son Nicholas has unfortunately disappeared. We don't know what's happened to him, and everything is being done to locate Nicholas, and hopefully he'll be found well and safe soon. So just to let you know, bud, everybody in the community is thinking of you and the family at this rather difficult time, and we hope that he's returned to you safely very soon. Anyway, this little kit I've had a look through is very good. Mind you, some of the Tamiya Shermans are. I did have an early version, and the casting on it was exquisite. This one, there's not so much casting on it because obviously it was a later model. But obviously, as I say, it's a nice kit. It's a nice kit, and this will be my first Sherman I've built in quite a while. I did one years ago, but unfortunately never got to finish it because I had to move, and it got broken, and that was the old Italeri one. Funnily enough, it was from the Tarawa campaign one, but there you go. I have got a value gear kit which is going to be put on the back as well, so if you want to have a look at the review of those, check out Sebastian Schuff's channel, Dutch Modelling. He has done a review of the sets, and they are exquisite. I've had one in my stash for quite a while, so I've got a good excuse to use it this time, so that's what I'll be doing. Anyway, if anybody wants to get hold of this kit, the kit number is, if I can have a look at the side of the box here, if I can get it into shot, come on, focus your devil, right, here we go, is 35251 oblique 3300. So if you want to freeze frame that and take a note of the kit number, by all means do, and it is still in production, so you can get hold of them, whereas I actually got this one on the cheap on eBay. You know me. You can save a buck somewhere along the line, haven't you? And then on the side of the box here, you've got an illustration of the assembled kit with the whitewash scheme, which looks very effective, I have to say. And then some of the extras which come in with the kit as well, because they do a storage set. But I will be using the value gear set. Okay. And then on the other side, you've got a colour call out view of a version which was used in the German campaign in February 45. Okay. Right, without further ado, we'll open the box. First off, the instruction sheet, as is per the norm with me. So I'm just going to put the kit aside. Again, usual layout with Tamiya. A little history about the vehicle itself, and then an illustration of the vehicle made up, which looks rather good, I have to say, especially with the stances of the figures. It looks superb. And then there's as I say, there's a little bit of history of the Shermans inside, which you've got illustrations of, which you can see here. Okay, so that's a good basis for a dio. colour callouts for the figures on the bottom here. Okay, and then obviously you've got normal paraphernalia with the advertisement of their tools that they got supplied, and then the colour callouts, which are all in Tamiya. But again, with the Holiday colour app, you can actually convert it into whatever brand of paint you're going to use. And then moving on, the first stage is to put the final drives onto the front of the lower hull, add the frontal armour, then the assembly of the bogies, which had a sprung WWS system on this version of the Sherman. Okay, and the next stage, I'll get it to fold, bear with me, assembly of the sprockets, which you see here. And then obviously the assembly of the exhaust system as well as the back plate. Okay, adding the idler wheel to the back and the bogies to the actual lower hull, and the back plate on, and that's the lower hull assembled. And obviously you've got the exhaust system which goes inside, and then obviously the crew hatch for the driver or commander. Okay. Next stage is the assembly of the exhaust system itself, or the spare track system, which goes on, and then obviously the tool rack, which goes on the back of the vehicle. Upper hull, you put all the assembly of the tools onto the upper hull. The track racks go on the back, and then obviously you've got the rear headlights go on the back, and you've got a colour call out on there. Front of the upper hull, you put the I've forgotten what they call this now. Well, it's the main cable which holds the barrel, as it were. And then obviously the front headlights go on, MG machine gun and searchlight. Okay, and then you've got the frames which go above the headlights, which you see here, grab handles, loader's hatch or machine gunner's hatch, more tools on the back with grab handles, etc. We're near the rear engine bay. Then the next stage is the assembly of the muzzle brake, and obviously you put the poly caps in so you can move the barrel up and down. Barrel comes in two halves, but I'm going to see if I can order a metal barrel so that you haven't got that awful seam line down. And then you put the barrel onto the muzzle brake, I think. Assemble that. Goes onto the main upper turret. Obviously you've got the option of having the hatches open or closed. Okay, goes onto the lower ring. Vision ports go in, and then basically the sub assemblies with the searchlight, grab handle, vision port, I'm not quite sure what that is, and all the other sub assemblies go onto the turret. Commander's cupola goes on along with the MG42. Side hatch goes on. The unique thing with this particular version, it only had a very small hatch on the side of the actual turret. Okay, next stage after that, get this right, sorry about this guys, just trying to get the pamphlet so you can all see it. Here's obviously the colour call out for the commander, which you see there at an ideal pose, range finding. As you can see, that goes inside along with a stand for the commander, and obviously I should leave that till the end. And then obviously you put the turret onto the upper hull, and the upper hull goes onto the lower hull. And then down here it's showing you basically how to assemble the rubber tracks, but I'll be getting hold of some aftermarket ones. Now I have been recommended to get some AFE ones, so I may well take that up. If not, I'll get the Bronco. Obviously you've got the ammunition cases here to assemble, but as I say, I'm going to be using the value gear set, so that may not be applicable for me. And then obviously assembly of the jerry cans, machine gun tripod, and this is the oil cans as well. Obviously it's showing the placement storage on the back and the front, and then it's the assembly done. And then obviously down here you've got the colour call outs for the figures that come with the kit. Okay, all in Tamiya. Now obviously what version I will be doing is this version. It's of H Company, 69th Tank Battalion, 6th Armoured Division, December 1944 in the Ardennes. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to do that whitewash scheme. And then the second example is of H Company again, 756th Tank Battalion, February 1944 in Germany. Oh, and in fact you've got a third option, which is the 48th Tank Battalion, 14th Armoured Division, 7th Army, January 1945 in France. Right, okay, that might be another option I might take up then, if I bottle out on that one, that first one. But I'm not, I'm going to give it a go, guys. Anyway, let's get on to the most interesting part, which is the parts of the kit themselves. Right, first up, upper hull. As you can see here, there is a slight turfish texture, but it's very inadmissible. The only thing I do like is you got the casting number on, if I can get it into shot. Is it going to focus? Yeah, there you go, you've got the casting number right here, so that's very nice, especially for the foundry. And then nice detail on the weld seams right here, very nicely done. But as I say, because it was a late version, I think it was a fairly sort of flush texture. It was an anti-slip surface on this, but not an ounce of flash. Nice clean detail, especially on the engine, the engine block here with the inlets, so very nicely done. Again, I suppose if you get an aftermarket set, you could open this up and go to town on it. Right. On this sprue here, I'm not going to take every one of them out, but I think I might well do on this one. Hang on, let me have a look here. Right, let's get the scissors. I'll just get this out so you can actually see the driver's figure, which isn't bad. I have to say the detail on it's quite nice. Let's get these out. Yeah, it's got some of the crew here, so we get that into shot. Is it going to focus? Come on, you swine. There you go. Nice detail on the figure, I have to say, very nicely caught, and very good emphasis for doing flesh tone work on the face as well, so I do like that. And then obviously you've got backpacks, which you can see here, nice detail on there. Sprockets, as you can see, spare tracks nicely caught, front final drive, and then you got the two halves of the jerry can. I think this is the air inlet, and then you've got the oil can there, which is nicely caught. So yeah, very nicely done there, guys. And again with the other one, you've got the same again. This could be the machine gunner, so if you wanted it as though they were driving along with the crew out, you could do. In fact, I might possibly use that on my ECH Sherman, I don't know, I might keep those. But it's basically the same detail again. I'll put that back in the bag. Right, let's get this bag opened. This is the commander's figure. Again, nice detail on the tunic, if I get it into shot. As you can see there, guys. There you are. And nice detail on the head as well, very nicely sculpted. Obviously you've got the machine gun tripod there, which is nicely done. You've got your ammunition cases here. I love the way they've caught the wood grain on it as well. As I say, I'll be using the value gear pack. And then obviously you've got your ammunition cases there as well. Very nice. And this is the one where you can use the figure with him looking through the binoculars. Again, same sort of thing, ammunition packs, etc. The other one I might use for spares. Actually, they've got two of them. That's interesting. Well, I could actually keep that for spares. So yeah, that might well go in the spares box, guys. There we go. back in the bag. Next one up, the turret. Let's have a look at that. It's already opened. You have got some very nice weld surface texture on there, but it's not that noticeable, to be honest with you. I might use some Mr. Surfacer just to give it that added little bit of casting detail on there. I don't know if you can actually vaguely see it, but there is a texture on there. But all the same, nice clear clip. Sorry, it's getting a bit tongue-tied. Nice, crisp, clear moulding. Not an ounce of flash. And obviously you've got the mantlet right at the front here. Again, with that one, there is a nice bit of casting detail, but I might emphasise that again with some Mr. Surfacer. Turret ring. Crew hatches. This is the loader's hatch. There's your two halves of your 105mm Howitzer gun. Again, I'll be sourcing a metal barrel. And then you got the side hatch here, which was the unique sort of feature on this sort of particular version of the actual M4A3. And again, very nicely caught, guys. That's that. Next set is the figures that come with the kit, which I will be using. Obviously of the US infantry that's running alongside the vehicle. Again, the level of detail on the tunics is absolutely exquisite. It's one of Tamiya's better set of figures, I have to say. As you can see here, very nicely caught. Beautiful detail, and that will come up nicely with a bit of dry brushing and washes and oils. And even the actual welding on the hands is beautifully caught. And the sculpt on the faces, very well caught again. I don't know if you can see that, guys. I've got my finger right here. Beautifully caught. Now, where did I put the bag? There we go. Put that back in. Okay. Right. Get these out. Right, you've got your poly caps, obviously, for your turret. And along here. Right, on this one, again you got another figure. Now whether that's meant to be one of the crew again, I don't know. I might well use that spares, but surprisingly there is flash around the edge. You don't often see that with Tamiya. So whether that was one that was basically the same sort of set as a standard M4 Sherman with the old 75mm, I don't know. But again, with the ammunition packs on the back here, the crate cases, lovely wood grain on it, beautifully caught. Obviously you've got your rear muffler, which you see there, barrel rods, and then obviously right here you've got your tools and your rear rack, and then the frontal armour. Again, not much texture on that, I have to say, so it might be a case of having to do some Mr. Surfacer on that. Oops, sorry, a bit out of focus there, guys. And then obviously you've got your rear plate right there, but the detail on the MG42, if you can make that out, is very nice. Might even be able to drill those holes out just to give it a little bit more authenticity with my little pin vise. So yeah, very nicely done. And even on the MG42, again, nice level of detail. Okay. And then we're coming on to the running gear. Again, beautifully welded, no flash on them, lovely sort of detail on them. Sprockets look exquisite. Then you've got your springs along here, and then obviously you've got your main bogies for the actual running gear as well. which are in 2 halves. Again, nice emphasis for detailing, and they've even got the casting block numbers on them as well. If I can get it low enough, I don't know if you guys can see that in the light. But right there's a casting number, beautifully caught. I'll put that back in the bag. To say, the amount of detail I've got on this kit is very impressive, I have to say. And then obviously you've got your spare helmets, ammunition, blades, MG Thompson down here. I'm not going to take this out because I don't want to lose it all. Spare tools. Okay, even backpacks there, caught with the creases. And a gun and ammunition there. Very nicely done, guys, very nicely done. And then obviously you've got these horrible rubber tracks, but again I have to say the detail on them is very, very good, and the way they've actually got the teeth there, very nicely done. But as I say, I'll be sourcing aftermarket with this. That's one thing I can't stand about Tamiya, is their rubber tracks. And then finally we've got the lower hull, quite bare, not a lot of detail on it, but then again I don't think you probably would need a lot of detail on it. So there you go. Okay, and it does actually date for, if I can have a look inside. Is there a date? 1987 when this was originally released. So it's not a new kit really, but all the same, quite impressive. And then obviously in here you've got the decals which come with the kit. I may well again be sourcing aftermarket. We will see. If not, well, I will try my best, because I know some of these decals that Tamiya supply are dreadful. There we go. Again, horribly thick, so they are going to be a nightmare to bed down. But it is what it is, guys. Okay. As I say, I might well see if I can source some aftermarket. But there you go. So basically, that is the Tamiya M4A3 105mm Howitzer Sherman. Nice level of detail in the kit. I'm very impressed with the amount of extras you got with it, although I will be using the value gear set, so keep repeating. Extra figures in it that you could possibly use for spares on another Sherman, so that's a good idea. Exquisite detail on the figures that come with the kit, especially of the infantry. Little bit of an emphasis possibly on using Mr. Surfacer, just to give it that casting texture, a little bit more sort of detail and make sure it pops out. But all told, looks as though it's going to be a nice kit to build actually, and I look forward to doing so. So there you have it. And that's my inbox review of the main subject of my Groupbuild entry. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the review. And the next one, as I say, will be of the Kugelwagen and the Bastogne Dragon figures. Anyway, until then, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.